Um, okay, yeah. Um, Welcome. This is, welcome to the video. This is a video about, I'm going to be talking about the man whose rational wiki, which I don't, this is my first hearing of rational wiki, but I came up with it when I Googled them. So, um, that's the page that's up. I'm going to be talking about this gentleman, Lucas Werner, who, if you don't know who he is, um, I'm not gonna give too much of a rundown. You can like pause it and read this, I guess, if you want. I think his website is like disabled. Um, but basically, Lucas Werner hails from Spokane, Washington, and operates a website called Conversation Our Age, which um, the link is a Weebly that doesn't exist, which advocates the view that men mature much slower than women, so that a 35-year-old man is the equivalent of a girl in her mid-teens. Um, and his claim is that his own semen possesses anti-aging properties derived from telomerase, which is why women should give him, quote, blowjobs and anal, end quote. Um, and I think that's about as good of a like briefing as you need if you don't already know too much about him. And he's got like he's not like an unknown figure. I'm not like exposing him or anything, but there's just some things I wanted to talk about related to him that hence why I'm making this sort of video here. Um, and I've created a playlist here of videos. That's what I want to talk about today. Is specifically mostly um, just Lucas's YouTube channel. Um, is he often gets into pretty interesting topics, and I guess he explores them in fascinating ways with certainly an approach and a fine hand that I really wouldn't expect of a man such as him. Um, One thing I'll start off just by like slowly scrolling through his YouTube, where most of his videos are just like 30 seconds long, and he'll film like 5 or 6 at a time in one location, and they're all around the same theme. So I guess he just like is like at the store or something, or is just like chilling in bed, and then just has a thought about something. Anything. Sometimes it's political, sometimes it's utterly nonsensical, and he'll just kind of create a string of videos about it. Like here, he's in like the same semi-prone position, so I'm assuming these were filmed right after one another. Liberals are often full of shit, and why I adore Generation Z, and Christians misinterpreted the Book of Genesis. Um, so the assumption I'm making is that he just has the thoughts and is like, this is going on YouTube. Um, and I think he has some stuff that's like Patreon exclusive, and he made a tweet that I saw that was like showing that he had 2 patrons, which is, I mean, good for him, honestly. But yeah, there's some of the titles are interesting to say the least. Like some of them are pretty, or some of them give you like a pretty good idea of what the video is going to be about. Like how Gen Z talks. Schrodinger's left winger, which I don't know exactly what he means by that. I didn't watch that video, but I'm assuming it's like pretty self-explanatory, considering it's like 37 seconds, or not self-explanatory, but just like makes sense given the title. but sometimes he'll also have stuff like not being a G and if we're going to open up something. Um, I just saw Elizabeth Warren just gave me an erection. I like that. I like that video very much. I think we might actually have to watch that. Um,
So Elizabeth Warren has been alluding that Bernie Sanders is gonna burn down the Democratic Party. Ooh, you know, you really need to stop because a prolonged erection for more than 4 hours is going to cut off blood supply to my brain.
all right, so an interesting watch. There's a lot to be learned here, and I'm simply not smart enough to be the one to do the learning. Um, but I'm gonna skip, try to skip down here a little bit, just because there's one like phase uh, that I think is really funny and noteworthy. A few months ago, um, where is it? Okay, Uncle's Game's the Mecca of Spokane. So I think that's like a, I think he's talking about like a board game store here. Um, and here is where there's just a fucking bunch of videos about different board games. Um, like this is a board game. This is a board game. Azul. Tack is a beautiful a beautiful game. Miss Thang. I don't know what the hell he's talking about with that title, but it's. I'm interested in just seeing the
You know,
content.
you little bitches. Got everything you want. You got a girlfriend, and you're cutting on a bro here. And you wonder what, like, old man comes down, like, wags his finger. Because you're bitches, dude. Whatever. I need a real friend out here, like a wingman, motherfucker. Not some, like, cunty little bitch boy. Some.
I have not watched this video, um, but I will have to return to it. It's not actually on the docket for today, so I'm not gonna run through the whole thing because it's not really of utmost importance to me. But I definitely will be revisiting this, and I hope that you do as well. Um, his YouTube channel is Lucas Werner. Again, video's called "Tack is a Beautiful Game, Miss Thang." And from the 24 seconds I've watched, um, you kind of have to see the rest. But right now, it just simply isn't the time that I'll do that. Um, so now, I've brought up, or not I've brought up, I've curated a list of videos that I think I need to address. The first one is a 32-minute video called "My Plan to Kickstarter a Board Game," which I have not watched a second of, and I'm not going to, but I just think it's really fucking funny that in the middle of all of these 30-second to a minute and a half long videos about nonsense, he just has this manifesto about his plan to Kickstarter a board game. The next one that I'm going to bring up, it's just 18 seconds, so we'll just watch it, is anyone in Spokane want to play Cards Against Humanity?
Funny. But also true. I'm open. I'm down.
See, and that's the
I think if it's
okay, and that's all that video is. And one thing that I often have trouble with when I'm sort of analyzing Lucas's works is I have no idea when he's trying to like act a certain way to like make fun of people that actually act that way, or if he's just acting that way because he's a complete fucking dimwit. And that's a really good example of that, because he holds up the cards and they're like not funny, and he says, this is my reenactment of it, and then he says funny but also true in a like sarcastic tone, and then says that he wants someone to play with him, and the title of the video is anyone is Pokemon want to play Cards Against Humanity. And the fact that he made the video and uploaded it makes me think that I guess he is looking for someone to play Cards Against Humanity with him, but his tone is so weird and inconsistent that you can literally never tell when he's trying to make like a point or not. Like, I don't know. I, for the life of me, cannot tell you. It's a 50-50 split between whether or not this video is a commentary on the game and the people that play it, or literally just him asking if someone wants to play Cards Against Humanity. So that video bewilders me. So I had to put that in here. This next one maybe bewilders me more.
I think if a chick walks past you and says like buddy or dude or nigga, the polite thing to do is just to say woman and then fuck off and go eat a sandwich or something.
Okay. There's a lot to unravel here in these opening lines. My main point being that I don't understand the context that he's like presenting. I don't know what the situation is. Does this happen often to him? Because he's presenting it. He had to make a minute-long video about it, and the way he opens it up makes it sound like this is an issue, or not an issue, but a situation that he comes across like pretty often, where a woman in the streets will just like call him buddy or the N-word for no reason, unprompted, I guess. But he makes this very unclear, but presents it as if, or not, I need to stop saying presents it. He says that as if that's something that happens like all the time. And there's just simply no way that that's the case. I mean, I personally cannot picture myself saying that to him, and I'm pretty out there, so who's to say? I'll play a little more of this.
Because I don't know, there could be like black guy around or something.
I forgot about that part. I am very fond of the implication that if he was like inside or in a private place, that if a woman just called him that, he would just kind of return the favor. But no, in public he won't, because there could be a black guy around or something. Which I understand his prudence. I understand where he's coming from here. Also, it's just this whole video is him taking the moral high ground about a problem that is not real. But goddamn if it doesn't make him look good. So let's keep going here.
She's like, really, it's like the younger chicks that do that. Buddy, woman, they don't need to treat you like you're the subordinate. You're not like a retard or something. Just be like, girl, or sweetheart, you know, go eat a pizza, go get a pizza or something, you know, fuck them.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so another thing that's interesting here is how he kind of explains the situation in multiple different ways. Like, he gives the initial one, and then he gives another one where it's just like, I don't know why he does that voice, but he says woman, sweetheart, girl. But no matter what the situation, he always goes to get food afterwards. And I just find the concept very funny that every time he's confronted, or not even confronted, but anytime he has any sort of odd interaction with a stranger on the street, he will just kind of go out to eat after. It's a funny, I guess, coping mechanism. I can say coping because I guess it's a pretty traumatic experience. And okay, here, these next two, they kind of go in tandem. We have sometimes dudes are the biggest bitches, but then after that we have sometimes even the women are the bitches.
No, chicks don't dig guys with long hair. You're a guy, you're a girl, you know, you're whatever. Maybe you're trans, intersexed. That's what they say. Intersexed. Actually, I know that. Like the whole they pronoun was the word of the year last year for Merriam-Webster. It's like, haven't we been using the term they to describe people in a nondescript way for centuries? Fucking Republicans always got to make it a thing. This is a non-violent way to solve a problem, bitches.
See, I knew there was something about the Cards Against Humanity video. Because the incredible plot device returns here. I had to kind of interrupt to mention that really beautiful continuity between his videos. He doesn't, what's the gun thing? Where it's like, you can't have a gun in the first act if you don't shoot it by the third act. I forget, for some reason at the moment the name's not coming to me. But this is that. He's doing a great job. He's fired the gun. We're kind of nearing the end of the second act, and the gun is officially gone off, and we know it's real. And it's honestly just a genius move by a visionary director here. So let's wrap this up.
Oh, you don't want to play with me? You know that makes you a bitch.
He's right. And this kind of adds extra, not only context, but also kind of threat to his original video about Cards Against Humanity. Or not original, because I think these might have actually came out like before, but anyway, I watched them in this order. Because now I can go back and watch the beautiful short film, Anyone in Spokane Want to Play Cards Against Humanity, and know that if I don't, I'm kind of a bitch. And there's not really else much I can say about that, except I want to go back. I want to make note of the fact
No,
that
chicks don't dig guys with long hair. You're a guy, you're...
he fawns over himself for 25 seconds before he gets to the point that makes up the next 35 seconds of the video, which has nothing to do with the intro about his hair. I just thought that was interesting to make note of, that his content spread is kind of it's sort of like if you're in a shitty rock band and you hit a bum note, it's like you hit a bum note. But if Miles Davis plays outside the scale, he's a genius. And Lucas is Miles Davis here. He's just a kind of a genius. And that's kind of the last thing I can say about Sometimes Dudes are the Biggest Bitches, but we'll move on to Sometimes Even Women Are the Bitches, which I don't remember what this even is.
Hi, Lucas. I'm a woman. How are you? Chase me, chase me. 'Cause you're a man. That makes you the whore. Off I go. No, bitch, I'm not gonna chase you.
Okay.
I don't think I've...
Now, I think out of all the videos we've looked at so far, this one speaks for itself the most. It's a scathing critique of women and how they I need to rack my brain here. I think Lucas may have stumped me on this one. He's kind of brilliantly tackling how men are supposed to be whores. But he's not one. Yeah. And really, that's a pretty complete work in its own. I don't have to say that much about it with it what are you getting at? So, I'll move on to kind of, we're 25 minutes in here. And this is really, well, this is going to be my pièce de résistance, but this is also Lucas's pièce de résistance. I think this is kind of his encapsulating work. Titled Jeffrey Epstein Was Just Straight Up Dumb.
I don't think I've addressed this on this channel. I've addressed it on the Wern channel. But the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. Like, I get that the sexual age of consent is 16 in, like, 33 states. So it's like, generally it's 16 in most of the United States. Most of the world it's probably like 16. I haven't really looked too much. You know, I've gotten curious to know in like Mexico and Japan it's 12, but they really look down on that, even though it's legal. And like in Sweden it's 14 or 15. But
okay, one thing I have to make note of is I'm glad that he asked. He acknowledges that he's like semi-pulling this all out of his ass. And he also just spends way too much time talking about that. Like, this is the first third of the video, and he just said the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, and then listed off a bunch of different ages of consent.
Jeffrey Epstein, this dumb twat.
He's right.
He overshot the thing by like 6 miles. The dude's over 60, right? So obviously that's going to confer shorter telomeres. You have to be in that 40 to 55-year-old window, you dumb bitch.
This is the most technical video I've covered from Lucas today, because this gets more into his like personal philosophy about telomerase and telomeres. So there's a lot of real life science working under the surface here. Okay, I gotta wind it back a bit. I think I just have to let the rest of it run, and then I'll go back to the individual parts of it.
Jeffrey Epstein, this dumb twat. He overshot the thing by like 6 miles. The dude's over 60, right? So obviously that's going to confer shorter telomeres. You have to be in that 40 to 55-year-old window, you dumb bitch. So he had like an inclination of knowing. He probably didn't know about telomerase. Even if he did, he overshot it like a cunt. So he's like over 60 trying to fuck 13-year-old girls. Which, you know, he had an island, and Bill Gates might be connected to that. Bill Clinton definitely is. Donald Trump definitely is connected. All their buddies are pedophiles. So, like, what I read is that Epstein was trying to impregnate 13-year-olds because he wanted to bring, like, a super race into the world. This dumb twat. Like, if you're over 60, it's going to shorten the telomeres. Schizophrenia, autism. And if the chick is under 18, childbirth complications. I don't know. Some people are, like, so close that you want to be like, he's a genius. But there's a huge difference between bananas Foster and lighting a fucking plantain on fire.
So to break it down, okay, first of all, we have to acknowledge that. Where is it that he says it?
Connected. All they're wanted to bring like a.
Okay, here.
So like, what I read is that Epstein was trying to impregnate 13-year-olds because he wanted to bring like a super race.
Where did he read that? No one said that. No one ever said that. He made that up. That's just not true. Okay, so we're this one's second. So he establishes that we're working under the assumption that Jeffrey Epstein established Lolita Island for the purposes of creating a super race, which is not true. He's just a pedophile. And under that assumption, Jeffrey Epstein is a fucking brain-dead moron idiot. Not for trying it, but because he's like 5 years too old. And so, in theory, in an alternate universe where the whole thing rises up like 7 or 8 years earlier, Lucas Werner thinks that he's a genius. And the only reason that in this real life universe that we live in right now, the only reason that in this universe Lucas doesn't think that Epstein is smart is because he's like 6 years too old. And so his telomeres don't like work optimally. So he can't create his super race. I think he sums it up really well.
It's probably like it's legal. And like in Sweden, shot the thing by like 6 miles. The dude's over 60, right? So obviously that's going to confer shorter telomeres. You have to be in that 40 to 55-year-old window, you dumb bitch.
See, that's the telltale line, is if Epstein was 55 or under, he's the smartest man of all time. He's successfully created a super race. And I think Lucas kind of sums up his emotions about it really beautifully at the end. Or one thing I should mention.
And if the chick is under 18, childbirth complications.
The way he bites his lip after he says childbirth complications, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. But he sums up his feelings.
I don't know. Some people are like so close that you want to be like, he's a genius, but there's a huge difference between.
Did he not think he could have said that better? Because I think you're getting into dangerous territory when you say that Epstein is so close to being a genius. And again, alternate reality where this comes up 8 years earlier. In this reality, Lucas Werner thinks that Jeffrey Epstein is an actual genius. And there's not really much else I can say about this. I think the rest of it, I kind of have to bequeath onto you to kind of figure out your own personal meaning. Because there's a lot of moving parts here that I can't really... And I make long videos. This video is fucking nothing, and this video is... We're going on 37 minutes right now. And I haven't really scratched the surface of really what he's getting at here. So I encourage everybody that sees this to, if you haven't already, really kind of do a deep dive into his catalog of work on here, because I think he might have a different YouTube channel, because he mentions it at the start of the video. But I am a lazy idiot who doesn't do any research, so I don't really know. I mean, he's supposed to also have that website, but it doesn't exist anymore, so. Consider this sort of a starter pack. I want you to use this to boost off into your own journey, because there's so many different directions that Lucas can take you in, just so long as you grab hold. And I think I'm going to have to leave it at that. If you want to see me on TikTok, my TikTok is @RoachGallery. If you want to see me on Twitter, my Twitter is @BusinessRoachSXE, spelled like I might put something here. My Facebook is... don't add me on Facebook. My Twitch is... I don't really use it, but my Twitch is @DarkChun. I'll probably put all the links here. I don't know, I'm feeling... I got this weird feeling just now. I don't think I'm healthy. Yeah, that about wraps it up for today. So I hope you had a good time, and I hope you yeah, see ya.